Alright, so there's illusory magic at play, which, you know, isn't uncommon for moogles. I'm sure I glimpsed the moogle fleeing in this direction. Could he be concealing himself with magic? Confound it! Could we but enlist the aid of one of our local moogles? I am certain Railsvagar would not elude us for long. Though the eye enables me to sense the presence of dragons, I can only identify Nidog's with any certainty. We could wander the mists for days, and not know if we were any closer to his brood brother. And those are days we cannot well afford to squander. Shall we divide our forces, then? Lady Azale, might I ask you to question any dragons whom you judge it safe to approach? I shall try, yet I fear the influence of Nidog's rage will render most of the Dravanians in the area deaf to reason. And what of you, Master Alphino? I have not yet given up on the moogles. Fate wouldn't come with me to Gridania. I mean to petition the aid of the moogles' kin in the Twelveswood. After that business of the Moghome, I dare say they'll be glad to help us. Assuming you have no need of me, I shall remain here. Nidog senses both the loss of his consort and the coming of the Eye, and his attention is firmly fixed in this direction. I mean to do what I can to hold his gaze, in the hope that it might delay any action against Ishgard. Thank you, Astidian. Come then, Phaedwin, let us make haste for Gridania, and rendezvous at Nofka's altar. Ah, but I neglected to tell you, there is an aetheryte of ancient construction here which should make the return journey rather less arduous. Pray do not forget to use it. I sent word to the Elder Seedseer upon arriving at Gridania, and I am pleased to report that she has agreed to grant us an audience. If anyone helps us to contact the Twelveswood moogles, it is she. We expect her at the Lotus Stand. I trust you are familiar with the conjurer stationed at its entrance. Yeah, so we're gonna talk to this NPC to let us in. It's one of those instanced zones. I bid you welcome, friends. The Admiral spoke of having met with you, but it is no less of a relief to see you safe and hale with mine own eyes. We humbly thank you for agreeing to receive us upon such short notice, my lady, and for all you have done for us in our absence. Would that it were solely to express our gratitude that we came to you this day. Alas, the tides of battle yet dictate our comings and goings. Elder Seedseer, we would beg your wisdom in a matter that may finally bring an end to the Dragonsong War. Speak on, friend. I see. So you seek a means to contact these moogles of the churning mists. Kupopo? I say, Kupo. Greetings, Kuplakop. To what do we owe the pleasure of your company? I was struck by the sudden urge to bring you some fruit, Kane, and I am jolly glad I did. Tell me more about these moogles in the sky, Kupo. I will gladly tell you all I know, though it amounts to precious little. We encountered a moogle high in the clouds of Dravania, and had hoped that you and your kin in the Twelveswood might agree to facilitate a meeting. Pray correct me if I am mistaken, Kuplo, but there are legends, are there not, which speak of moogles who dwell beyond the clouds? Indeed there are, Kupo. Long, long ago, back when the world was still young, they say my ancestors served the god up in the heavens. Of course, that was before their masters took to bickering like spoiled children. Ah yes, the tale of good King Moghome XII. He is revered for holding fast to a rope of miraculous length, that his subjects might climb down from the sky and escape to the world below. Ignoring the more fanciful aspects of the tale, it may well be that Kuplo's ancestors hailed from the churning mists. Given how long his kin have resided in the Twelveswood, it is perfectly possible that the details of their history have faded into myth. Indeed, Master Alphino, such stories often contain a measure of truth. It is like that the moogles of the churning mist tell similar tales of the world below. I can well imagine why the one you encounter fled at your approach. Oh, fleeing's second nature to us. We often hide when the larger races come tramping through the forest. Of course, when there is one moogle, there's bound to be more. Do they make squishmallows of moogles? I think if they don't, it's a missed opportunity. Which is why I decided to take a trip to the clouds, Kupo. They surely won't be afraid to talk to me. I was hoping you might say that, Master Kuplo. Will you accompany us, then? Lest you try and stop me, Kupo. I'll admit, the thought of venturing outside the Twelveswood is a bit unsettling, but I can hardly refuse a chance to meet my distant cousins. If you will have me, I will... if you will have me, I too will accompany you on this venture, and lend my voice to your cause as an ambassador of Gridania. My lady, are you quite certain? How oft has our nation turned to the signs of the seventh dawn in our hour of need? How oft have we asked the warrior of light to risk her life to save our own? Full many times, I say to you, and never have they refused us. Thus do I choose this day to offer mine aid to our allies for the good of the realm. Is this not just? A most unexpected and welcome offer, Elder Seedseer. We will be honored by your presence. Pray return to the summit and inform our companions of these developments. I will serve as the Elder Seedseer's guide on the journey back to Somal. It being a path I have already trodden, I do not anticipate any great difficulties. Besides, we shall have the Elder Seedseer's personal guard to escort us. Well met, Warrior of Light. Nidhogg is not stirred, but he watches us unblinking. I mean, at best he would only manage a wink, right, with one eye? But technically, isn't he always unblinking? The Elder Seedseer herself answers your call, then there is naught to do but wait. They are here, Faedwin. Greetings, my friends. I am happy to report that our journey was mercifully uneventful, devoid as the road was of Dravanians. But see, the dragons have abandoned Somal for the churning mists. Elder Seedseer, may I present to you Sir Estinian, Ishgard's Azure Dragoon. It is an honor to meet you, Sir Estinian. I have heard many tales of your order's extraordinary skill and courage. Friends, I feel it only right to inform you that we are not alone. The Moogles are all around us even as we speak, and I should imagine they are more than a little concerned by the horde of strangers that have descended upon their home. Mayhap now would be an opportune moment to introduce ourselves. So can she sense them, or can she see them? This should serve. They're hiding, of course, but there are so many of them, Kupo. I am Kanisena. My companions and I have braved the long road from the Twelveswood to share words with you. On this, the occasion of our first meeting, we bring an offering of light and wind. They know how to party. Ooh, such a gentle and pleasing glow, Kupo. I am Moglin, the chieftain of this Moogle clan. Chieftain Moglin, it is an honor to meet you. Greetings, I am Kuplakop, an ambassador of the 12wood Moogles. A Moogle from the world below? Your hide is of a different hue, but that palm is unmistakable. I might need a moment here, Kupo. My companions were no less surprised to learn of your existence here amongst the clouds. I hope they did not startle you overmuch in their eagerness to make your acquaintance. Full well can I imagine your wariness. I am told that men have not walked here nigh on 1,000 winters. Mayhap you will forgive them their forwardness when I unfold for you the grave matter which first brought them into your midst. My companions crave an audience with the great Wyrm Hraesvelgr, that they might negotiate an end to the war twixt man and dragon. An end to war, you say? I trust you, Kanisena. The light of peace shines brightly within your soul. But I'm afraid the same cannot be said of your friends. To be plain, we did not hide ourselves because they were the first of your kind to be seen here in 1,000 years. Well, not only because of that. We hid because we smelled dragon blood. These skies are home to many, many dragons. While some crave peace, such as Hraesvelgr, many others crave the opposite, such as Nidhogg. Suffice it to say, we are worried that the presence of your blood-spattered warrior friends will attract the attention of the nastier kind, and invite destruction into our happy home. Now just a moment, chieftain. Faewyn here may have doled out the odd thrashing or two, but it's always been for a really good reason. She is a champion of the 12wood Moogles, and I'll not hear her good name slandered. Now, Ambassador, let's not ruffle each other's fur. I shall, of course, take your testimony into consideration. If I may, chieftain, there's little room for trust twixt strangers. Might we not take this opportunity to learn more of each other? An excellent suggestion, Kupo. In the interest of fostering friendship and keeping an eye on you, I extend to you the hospitality of Moghome. Prove yourselves worthy of our assistance, and it will be yours. I shall be watching, Kupo. Well, that sounds like quests. It's got a helmet. Tell me, in the world down below, do all of your kind look so different from one another? It must be terribly disconcerting. What was it Kuplakop called you again? Faedwyn? Your names are as odd as your appearance. Have you ever considered a nice Moogle name? Moglin is taken, by the way, Kupo. As are Moghan, Mogmug, and Mogwin. These being the names of the 3 wise Moogles who would administer the momentous challenges that I have devised to measure your worth. I call them the Trials of Trustworthiness. Undertake these trials, and we shall soon see whether or not you are worthy of our aid. Hello! Yes, I am Moghan, the foremost alchemist of Moghome, if you must know. If your tummy's gloopy or your wings are droopy, I have a potion to fix that. Or what if I didn't keep running out of ingredients? Luckily, you were here to do my chore. Trial! Yes! Go forth, mighty adventurer, and mightily pluck 3 sprigs of cloud's breath for me. You'll find it blooming near the entrance of Isle Tome. It's not the safest of places, so don't let yourself be too distracted by the pretty flowers, Kupo. I think we should probably just take them all. Yes, you have the pleasure of speaking with Mogmug. I know. I am the fluffiest, most enchanting creature you have ever laid eyes upon, Kupo. It isn't easy being this adorable. I can barely take a stroll outside without those relentless Dravanians throwing themselves at me. Why, they look as if they might just gobble me right up. In any case, fleeing their overbearing adulation is growing a bit tiresome. Your trial, madam, is this. Find these ardent archaeosaurs and slap some manners into them, Kupo. Perhaps a firm smack on the snout will teach them to appreciate my charm from afar. Moglin's the name, and art is my game. When it comes to painting, there are none in Moghome who can match my talent with a brush, Kupo. I know why you have come. Chieftain Moglin has demanded that I test your trustworthiness. But as I trust no one to create art that will satisfy me, I instead charge you with retrieving a masterpiece I seem to have misplaced. It was an ambitious and innovative work, guaranteed to fetch at least 4 Kupo nuts on the open market. You must find it. Question the masses. Surely a pebble painted with such vibrant color and unmistakable panache cannot have escaped the notice of every moogle in Moghome. So this one is a social trial. Talk to people. My weakness! Moglin is missing his masterpiece, Kupo? Oh, you mean that paint-smeared mess of a pebble? I've not seen it recently. A fact for which my eyes are profoundly grateful. Maestro Moglin has misplaced his masterpiece, Kupo? Oh, happy day! If I am the swifter in finding it, I will soon have a genuine Moglin for the price of a little perspiration. Honestly, who has 4 Kupo nuts just lying around to spend on such luxuries? Wait, no. I don't know much about his stone, but I do know Moglin's been creeping out the back way to Samal's summit from time to time, Kupo. Maybe he left it up there. How am I doing on Aether Currents? I've got to get all these Aether Currents to fly. Sea of Clouds is still got 5 quests, particular quests I need to do, right? Or is it? I forget which one it is. Is it finding them in the world, or I think I just need to find them in the overland. I just haven't been there, I think. Well, what did you find out, Kupo? Ah, yes. Now that you mention it, I do seem to recall leaving my pebble out in the sun to dry. The second part of your trial commences. Go adventure and retrieve my masterpiece before some art-starved admirer swipes the stone for himself. So we're a little over-leveled for the stuff we're doing right now, so it should be pretty straightforward. As long as it's not navigation to tricky areas I can't see. Okay, so we did have to come up here for this. Okay. So for our final one, we need to find our way up. You're able to humble my Dravanian devotees? Wonderful. You're as capable as I am captivating, Kupo. Still, my precious perfection does not excuse those last from pursuing me so mercilessly, their tongues lolling and bellies rumbling. The Dravanians and their ilk have much to learn about acceptable acts of admiration. Did you have any trouble finding Cloud's Breath? I do need it quite urgently, you know. Oh yes, these are perfect, Kupo. I have the main ingredient for my palm tonic. Speaking of which, how are you feeling, miss? Should you ever feel your palm losing its bounce, then I'm your moogle, Kupo. It's an ether current. Oh man, okay. Have you ever bathed in the waters of the northeast? Of course not, because a gang of burly Hrupkins has been attacking any who go near them, Kupo. If you were kind enough to slay a few, they might scare them away, giving me time for a dip in the waters. I guess that makes sense because he had said that he was letting it sun dry. Okay. Do you have it, Kupo? Is my masterpiece safe? Here it is, Kupo. Yes, this is my work. Is it not exquisite? I call it Contemplations of Zenith. Thank you, madam. At last I can exchange my art for those delectable Kupo nuts. Chieftain Moglin will hear of this valorous deed. You completed the trials of trustworthiness. Return to Chieftain Moglin and await his judgment. Feydwin, if that is what you insist on calling yourself, you have completed the trials of trustworthiness administered by the taskmasters Moglin, Mogmug, and Mogwin. During these grueling tests of character, I closely observed your conduct, as well as that of your companions. And I am decided, Kupo. Gather your friends before me now, so that I need not repeat myself needlessly. I gotta go. Come on. Everyone gather round. Are these trials over, then? My tasks have been little more than household chores. If our hosts select not to grant their aid after working us like pack chocobos, I shall demand compensation in Kupo nuts out of principle. But I hope it will not come to that. Let's hear the chieftain's verdict, shall we? Standing here in Moghome, my thoughts turn inevitably to the legend of good King Moghome the 12th and his seat in the heavens. Like most, I thought it no more than myth, a story for younglings that grew with telling. With every passing moment, I become more certain that we have discovered the origin of the tale. Full eager am I to hear what the chieftain has to say. All things considered, those are pretty straightforward requests. I'll go your trials, warrior of light. I myself have been sent on a number of expeditions to chastise the local dragon population. Did not their chieftain wish to avoid inflaming the Dravadians? Such contradictions aside, our hosts seemed entranced by the height of my leap. They compared me to Mog, a lance-wielding Moogle warrior of Eld, who also favored such attacks. It was meant as a compliment, I expect, but I doubt these furry lumps could outleap a caracal lamb, much less a dragoon. Conclude your business here swiftly, Feydwin. I like not this place. We've become such friends, Kupo. My Moogle cousins love to sing and dance as much as I do. Chieftain Moglin has finally come to a decision, has he? I suppose I'd better flutter over and see him then. What sorcery is this, that my heart should stir at mere fluffiness? Feydwin, I was... No matter, what is it? Chieftain Moglin has made his decision. Well, let us not keep him waiting then. That is a really cool throne. Look how soft. Never have I seen such determined workers, Kupo. It would have taken us moons to complete all those dreary chores and niggling errands. And have our labors proven the purity of our intentions, Chieftain? Without a doubt. In fact, there was never really all that much doubt to begin with. You were, after all, already friends with a fellow Moogle. But you see, before any meeting with Hrausvigar could take place, certain preparations needed to be made. What better way to help you pass the time than by having you perform all the tiresome tasks that no one ever wants to do, Kupo? Grr. Oh dear, the horn. Bring out the horn, quickly now. We blow on this wondrous instrument whenever we wish to speak to the great Wyrm, Kupo. We haven't perhaps been treating it with the care it deserves of late, and I think Moghome might have sat on it, so we needed some time for cleaning and polishing and straightening. No lasting harm done, though. Now you need simply head to Zenith, the Wyrm's dwelling to the west, and give the horn a good toot. We're in your debt, Chieftain. Thanks to your noble gift, we shall finally have a chance to plead our case of Hrausvigar. Very possibly, yes. But I wouldn't get my hopes up too high, Kupo. The old Wyrm isn't terribly fond of, Your concern is appreciated, but I am quite certain that Hrausvigar will welcome our overtures. Should we ever arrive at his lair? Come, we have squandered enough time already. Chieftain Moglin, we thank you for your gracious hospitality. Though we must soon take our leave, I pray that we may continue to nurture the shoots of this new-sprung friendship twixt earth and sky. Of course, Kupo. Visit us whenever you wish. Consider Moghome your home amongst the clouds. We never saw them again. Thanks for the help, Kupo. I doubt I would have ever found the time for all those rotten chores. Hey, it wasn't my idea. If the chieftain had spent a little less time sitting about and a little more time chieftaining, things would never have gotten so messy in the first place. And he was the one who sat on the horn, by the way. But now all the errands are done and the horn is fixed, so all's well that ends well, eh, Kupo? Well, I expect you're eager to be on your way. Did I mention your friend was looking for you, Kupo? If not, Alphino is looking for you. I'll be waiting just outside, stretching my wings. Let me know when you're ready to depart. To the best of my knowledge, we have all that we need for our trip to Zenith. I believe the Elder Seedseer and her retinue will soon be making the journey back to Gridania. It would be remiss of us, I think, not to convey our gratitude to them prior to going our separate ways, shall we? Alphino, Phaedwin, I do humbly thank you for what has been a most enlightening experience. Were it not for your pioneering spirit, the existence of these moogles might never have been revealed to us. 'Tis we who should be thankful, Elder Seedseer. Were it not for your timely diplomacy, they would never have chosen to reveal themselves at all. And 'twas your presence, Kuplakop, that ultimately won us their trust. It must have taken great courage to leave the sanctuary of the Twelveswood, and we are exceedingly glad that you did. It was my pleasure, Kupo. I made so many new friends, and I have so many fantastic tales to tell my kinsmoogles back home. And it is to our home that we must now return. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal, my friends. Safe journey, Elder Seedseer. We too must be on our way. Hraelsvika awaits. Warrior of Light, pray attend closely to your companion, Sir Estinian. Beneath that stoical facade, a storm of anguish seethes unseen. I can't see anything with this helmet. Oh wait, isn't there a visor down visor? You said your goodbyes and dabbed away your tears, Kupo? Then we are indeed ready to go. As Chieftain Moglin already explained, the shiny instrument we gave you is the best means of grabbing Hraelsvikar's attention. I'll come along and show you the way to Zenith. That's the big palace where you need to blow the horn. First things first, though, we need to make for Asa. Oh, and watch out for rampaging dragons. Maybe that should have been the first thing, Kupo. It is. You aren't thinking of heading towards Asa, are you? Better watch yourself if you are. Archosaurs stalk the road looking for an easy meal. If only someone could drive them away, Kupo. Oh, do you seem the type for dragon hunting? Why don't you slay 3 of the Archosaurs and open the road back up for moogle traffic? Once the deed is done, let Mogment of Inasa know. It was fun. Oh, I didn't see there were more dragons. Alright, well... What does Mogmont have to say? Is that someone from below? How did you get past the Archosaurs infesting the road? What? Mogsy asked you to slay them for him. It's just like him to depend on the kindness of strangers. We've barely been able to venture outside of Asa for fear of being attacked. Now, thanks to you, the roads are just a little safer, Kupo. Things were a bit bitey for a while there, but I think we arrived in one piece, Kupo. I wonder what has the dragons so awfully snappy. I mean, the bad ones are always bad, but they seem worse than usual. We may have a small problem, Kupo. When the winds are high like this, Hraelsvikar invariably abandons his lofty perch and heads to the lands below to hunt. If you try blowing the horn now, I doubt he'd hear it. I suggest we stop the clearing up ahead and rest until the wind dies down. This should do nicely, Kupo. The winds will likely have died down by tomorrow, but until then, we might as well make ourselves comfortable. If we must... Oh, wait, sorry. If we must interrupt our journey so close to its end, I suppose this place is as good as any. And mayhap a brief respite from the hardships of the road will help to clear our minds in readiness for the coming parley. Very well, then. I believe a campfire is in order. Leave the gathering of fuel to me. I acquired a keen nose for firewood during my time in the frozen wastes of Carthus. Anytime Alphinaud's willing to do something, I am fine with that. Le gasp! Exactement! Clear our minds. 'Tis Master Alphinaud whose mind needs clearing. The thought of meeting a great worm in the flesh has befuddled the boy. Did you see him stroll away as if these ruins were not crawling with deadly beasts? Follow him, Fadewood, and see that the wildlife does not make a meal of our young friend. We'll have the camp ready by the time you return. I see I was right to worry about the boy's safety. Once Alphinaud returns with the wood, we can see about supper. The Ice Queen has filled a pot with what looked like stew ingredients ready for the fire. Thanks for the sticks, Alphinaud. I really need a moogle squishmallow. I gotta remember to look that up, see if it exists. Ah, few things compare to the simple pleasure of sitting beside a crackling campfire of one's own making. Ah, so speaks the great explorer. Until recently, you wouldn't have recognized firewood if it came with kindling and a flint. 'Tis well you instructed me so patiently, then. But yes, left to my own devices, I would have been compelled to signal to Ysel with a pile of damp leaves. I was born the pampered son of a Charlayan dignitary, and alongside my twin became the youngest student ever to be accepted into the studium. How proud I was to match wits with scholars and philosophers. How ignorant of mine own shortcomings. That hubris invited manipulation and betrayal, and led to the downfall of the Scions. We all of us are guilty of similar ignorance. How many men lay down their lives, never knowing what it is that they fight for, never questioning that which they have been taught to believe. It was only upon meeting Hraesvelgr that I learned the truth hidden within our history. Were it not for that chance encounter, I would never have vowed to tear down the Holy See and expunge the falsehoods with which it fans the flames of conflict. I would have lived and died in ignorance, but the truth has driven me to do terrible things I cannot deny. I would rather sin in the pursuit of peace than imagine myself virtuous for perpetuating a needless war. If this journey has taught me anything, it is the importance and difficulty of holding to one's convictions in the face of failure, of striving always to replace one's ignorance with knowledge. You are well on your way, Master Alphinaud. At your age, I was but a fool swinging a spear, with scarcely a thought in my head. Even now I struggle to acknowledge the misconceptions under which I have labored. Sitting here amongst these grand ruins, how can I deny that man and dragon once lived in peace? But for all that such an age existed, we are now in a time of war. Nidhogg killed my family, and no quirk of history will exonerate him. I may be ignorant of how the Dragon Song War began, but if we do not put an end to this conflict now, I can say for a certainty that it will only breed more vengeful souls such as mine. In my hands resides the power to vanquish a great worm. If Ishgard's survival rests on me wielding that power, I will slay Nidhogg myself. Orders or no? Estinian, you gave your word. My word is contingent upon the success of our parley. Show me the strength of your convictions, Lady Iceheart. Convince Railsfigure of the righteousness of your cause. Doubt not but that I shall, Dragoon. Well, winds willing, we shall have our answers on the morrow. Let us sleep now and face our fate with the rising of the sun. Well, that's a cool little moment. The campfire was so cozy. I must have fallen asleep, Kupo. But do you feel how the winds have shifted? They will have borne Railsfigure back to the skies above Zenith, I'm sure of it. This is your chance to climb to the highest floor of the palace and summon him with a toot on that shiny horn. So, I'll be headed back now, if it's all the same to you. Good luck, Kupo. It was nice knowing you. Doesn't seem to have such high hopes for me. When it's time to leave. Until then, running. Shoot. Oh, yeah, that's right. I got levels in Bard. Mortals, why do you disturb my solitude? Is what it said. Thou speakest the name of a creature that but awaiteth the release of oblivion. Leave me.
By the 12. Mine ears hear the tongue of dragons, yet the meaning rings clear within my mind. How can that be?
Racevelga, do you not remember me? 'Twas I whom you found in Dravania. I who glimpsed the truth. The truth about your past. About Shiva.
Do not speak her name, mortal.
But speak it I must. I have summoned Shiva's soul from the beyond and offered myself as her vessel. She has made her heart known to me.
Foolish girl, thinkest thou my beloved spirit hath descended from the heavens? That the secrets of her heart are thine to know?
I have surrendered mine to her. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva reborn.
Gullible fool, the light but illuminated the past for thee, it did not grant thee omniscience. Oh, okay. The spirit thou hast summoned belongeth not to Shiva. 'Tis but a shade conjured by thine own fancy. In an age long past, mine own kin were guilty of like folly. Beguiled by the Dark One's lies, they attempted to resurrect a king amongst worms. Yet the divinity they called forth merely borrowed the semblance of my fallen brood brother. Such gods are not summoned but created, phantoms spun from the threads of misplaced faith.
Then the spirit that answered me.
Was but thy dream of Shiva. Thy soul hath been corrupted by a deity of thine own making, child. Oof. That's crushing for her.
Be that as it may, Lord Hraesvelga, Izel's desire to heal the rift between man and dragon is real, and it has borne us this far. We would spare both our kind and yours the ravages of this senseless war. Pray join your voice to ours in a call for peace and forgiveness.
The tale of thy kind is one of avarice, treachery, and death, and thou wouldst speak to me of peace? Hark thee, mortal, to the naked truth. Then tell me thou deservest forgiveness. Mama got a game, are you here sending me memes? "1,200 years ago, my beloved Shiva's sacrifice served to bring an end to the war twixt man and dragon, paving the way for an age of peace and cooperation. Two centuries of harmony were to follow, during which time the Elezen learned much about us, not least that the eyes of a great Wyrm are the wellspring of his strength. It was out of the selfish desire to possess this strength that King Thordan then conspired to undo all that our peoples had achieved together. With the aid of his leal knights, that most noble of Elezen lured my brood sister Retatoska into an ambush, and took from her that which he craved. Fain would I strike the image from my mind, yet still the scene doth linger, of my brood sister's tattered corpse defiled by her Elezen allies. They had torn out her eyes and feasted upon them in the manner of wild beasts. Yet that was not all. For from their bloody banquet the fiends had gained strength beyond that of mortal men. Even now I labor to comprehend the enormity of their betrayal. Nidhogg was the first to learn of this atrocity, and he took to the skies hungry for vengeance. But though he slew Thordan and some of his knights, their fellow butchers knew only too well where to aim their spears, and with now practiced savagery they set upon my brood brother, sending him flailing from the field. Such is the truth the Holy See would keep hidden. Such was the beginning of the Dragon Song War. Tis a song my kind shall ne'er forget, e'en though 10,000 years pass and Ishgard crumble into dust.
Your tale bears scant resemblance to the one I was taught. How convenient that it should absolve your kind of all responsibility. But tell me, Dragon, why should I believe your version of events?
What thou choosest to believe is immaterial. The betrayal that yet haunts mine every waking moment is no less than the truth to my kind. Nidhogg meaneth for Thordan's people to suffer for this sin till the end of days. That which thou imaginest a war of extinction is but a punishment, a siege of the spirit. Hast thou not seen who tire the torment? Those who abandon their own and side with dragonkind?
Ishgard's so-called heretics.
Know that all the traitor's progeny bear a trace of Ratataskar's essence, but a single sip of our blood is enough to awaken it.
Then the seed lies within us.
It is for this reason that those who abandon their loyalties are rewarded with a drink, and thus are they transformed to join the ranks of Nidhogg's ever-growing army as newborn dragons. One by one, through death or defection, my brood brother shall account for all the betrayer's children.
Ye gods, I have borne witness to such a transformation. Looked on as a heretic assumed the shape of a dragon. I imagined it some manner of Dravanian enchantment. But if any Ishgardian, regardless of allegiance, has such potential within them, 12 forgive us. To think of all the dragons we've slain!
There will always be some, of course, who choose to fight until the bitter end, like thee, Dragoon. But struggle as thou might, thy youthful vigor will be spent ere thou reachest 20, and Nidhogg shall remain to torment thine offspring.
Oft have I wondered why Nidhogg did not simply raze Ishgard to the ground. Now I have my answer. He has no intention of winning the Dragonsong War, for it is no war at all, but vengeance, an eternal requiem sung for his murdered sister.
Thou hast the right of it, Dragon Slayer. Comprehendest thou now the futility of thy quest?
I have not come this far only to admit defeat. We can still return the eye to Nidhogg and beg forgiveness for our ancestors' crimes. Mayhap our words will sway him.
Stubborn child, thou thinkest in mortal terms. Our perception of time is too broad for thee to grasp. Tis a simple matter for thee to offer thine apologies. Thou dost not perpetrate the crime. Despite thy visions, the deeds of history seem distant to thee. For a Wyrm such as Nidhogg, however, that history is yet part of his present, as fresh as the blood that did gush from Ratatuskar's wounds. How could he not be driven mad? Tis only by the calming embrace of Shiva's soul that mine own fury hath not consumed me. But let us speak no more of what is done. My faith in your kind is spent, and I would be alone. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Hroesvelgr was every bit as awe-inspiring as I imagined. His voice fairly dripped with power, the will behind his words so undeniable that it transcended my ignorance of the dragon's tongue. It is but a pity that I misliked what he said. So far did we travel, even unto the very heavens themselves, only to be dismissed like unruly children. And far from mitigating this humiliation, the hidden truths we have learned served only to prove that our grand mission of peace was destined to fail from the first. Nothing will deter Nidhogg from his course.
Well, what do you propose we do now? I, for one, am intent on continuing to the east.
What is there to be found in the east?
Nidhogg's lair, the Eyrie, is said to lie in that direction. And the eye tells me he is near.
You cannot still mean to slay him.
You cannot still mean to stop me. I have been true to my word, and aided you in this fool's errand with Hroesvelgr. But your efforts at parley have come to naught, Lady Iceheart. I would see Ishgard saved, and for that, Nidhogg must die.
With the tale of our ancestors' vile betrayal yet ringing in your ears, you speak of continuing this war?
Nay, lady. I would but pierce its vengeful heart. When Nidhogg dies, this war shall die with him.
A moment, Estinian. You yourself spoke of the Great Wyrm's strength, that you believed him powerful enough to raise your city to the ground. How then are we few to challenge him? Even behind the stout walls of Ishgard, with an army of knights manning the defenses, our victory would be hard won. Yet you propose to contend with the beast in his own lair.
In close combat, this will afford us an advantage. And if the tales are true, the Warrior of Light has bested many an invincible foe. But such speculation is meaningless if we cannot even find the Wyrm. Our first task must be to seek out Nidhogg's lair.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
That I should be blinded by my own lies. Everything I believed, everything I thought I was, gone. All gone.
Leave her. Your words will not reach her now. And we have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
I mean, she basically found out, like, her entire identity is false. So... that's rough. Many thanks, brave adventurer. Finally, I can enjoy a bath without the smell of raw dragonfish assaulting my senses. Say a dip in the waters might serve to freshen you up as well, Kupo. Sweet. Okay, so I've got one more... I got 4 more churning mist exploration things.
Is that it?
Well, how do I get up there?
Aye, that would be the Eyrie. I feel Nidhogg's presence through the eye, his caustic hatred gnawing at my soul. 'Twould seem the death of his consort has put him on guard. Mark how he wards his lair with tempestuous winds.
A similar barrier once barred our entrance to the Primal Garuda's domain, until we discovered the means by which it could be penetrated. Mayhap it is time we called upon Master Garland. It will be just like the good old days, no?
When in doubt, call Sid. I feel like we're getting close to having to do a dungeon here. And unfortunately, my hyper carry has not shown. A force of sufficient power to break through a primal's defenses might conceivably grant us access to the area. And I can offer no better solution. Pray consult this engineer friend of yours. Very well, on the condition that you swear not to lure Nidhogg from his lair in our absence. And steal all the glory for myself, you mean? Nay, I'm not so selfish as that. Contact me by link pearl when your preparations are complete, and we shall set forth from Ishgard together. I suggest we rendezvous back at St. Renet's Forum, Bedouin. From what I gleaned of the Holy Sea's decidedly ambitious airship project, Sid will still be in Ishgard. When last you saw Master Garland, he was advising the Ishgardians on their ailing airship, correct? In that case, he might still be at Camp Cloudtop. Failing that, we could try the airship landing, or mayhap even the Sky Steel Manufactory. But let us not waste time searching aimlessly. Someone in the city is sure to know where to find him. The question is who? The Amerk would seem the obvious choice, but there's no guaranteeing he'll be able to grant us an audience at short notice. Ah, I have it. Count Edmond's youngest son prides himself on knowing all the Holy Sea's juiciest rumors. Let us return to the manor and see if Lord Manalan is about. Manalan. Ah, the hero returns. How goes the fight, old girl? Well, I trust? Search of Sid Garland, you say? Then say no more. The taverns are full of talk, and the name of said silver-haired genius has cropped up more often than most. I hear he has been tasked with getting that monstrous airship the Holy See commissioned to actually fly. It seems the project has been plagued with mishaps from the first. In any case, Garland Ironworks employees are known to frequent the airship landing, and I'll wager the master does too. The airship landing? Yes, I thought as much. Come, Faedwin. We must find Sid and— oh, yeah. The airship landing? Yes, I thought as much. We must find Sid and trouble him for his expert opinion. Typically. It's something I can do, like, without feeling like I need to, you know, have it on stream if I've been streaming everything else, you know? But now I'm prepped to craft, like, whatever gear I might need. And furnishings for the house. Faedwin, Alphino, how fare you both? Not terribly well, judging by your faces. Greetings, Master Garland. I'm sure it will come as little surprise when I tell you we have a need of favor. I've been narrating this so long I insert have need when it's not there. Another wind barrier? And you say it was conjured by Nidhogg. The Enterprise could certainly take you where you need to go. But she would not fare well against dragons. She's agile for a ship her size, but not that agile. Rivanians would fly rings around her. And if they took it into their heads to incinerate the rigging, there'd be precious little we could do to avoid them. But there must be something we can do, some manner of weapon we can employ. Estinian stands vigil at the edge of the churning mist, but we do not know how much longer. Alright, I didn't say it was impossible. I said it was impossible for the Enterprise. We need a smaller boat. Biggs, Wedge, it's time we gave that new toy of yours a proper field test. Probably best that I let the lad show you. Come on, the manufactory's not far. I like his domino outfit. What? Pivot. Look at me. Leave. My little project's just inside. Oh, you're gonna like this one.
Feast your eyes upon our latest and greatest feat of engineering. We call it a mana cutter.
Oh, shit. That looks sleek.
Put down Gaius. Wedge and me struck out on our own for a bit, and started work on the successor to the tiny Bronco.
Impressive little thing, isn't she? My talent for ship design has plainly rubbed off on them. They've adapted the principles of corrupted crystal technology and constructed a mechanism which converts ether from its surroundings into elemental wind. Said wind is then harnessed by the specially engineered sails, providing the craft with propulsion and lift. All in all, a most elegant solution. I'm actually a little upset that I didn't think of it myself.
The design does, however, come with one small flaw.
The energy conversion ratio is bloody awful. To generate enough power to get you off the ground, you need to be in an area awash with predominantly wind-aspected ether.
In other words, there are a few places you can fly, lots of places you can't.
The new Ishgardian airship hasn't left the boys much time for tinkering, meaning it may be a while before this particular project takes off. If you'll forgive the pun.
Tataru, what's happened?
I've been looking all over for you. There's been word from Aldar. It's about Her Grace the Sultana.
It seems you're required elsewhere. Leave the mana cutter with us. We'll see that she's airworthy and suitably equipped to slice through those winds. You, meanwhile, should concentrate on providing Raoban and the Sultana whatever help they need.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen her yet since we found out that she's supposedly still alive. General Raban says they may have uncovered the Sultana's whereabouts, and he wants you, by which I mean both of you, to go to Waking Sands right away and help with the investigation. Come, Fatewood, pressing through Ishgard's plight may be, a presence here will not serve to hasten the Mountaintop's completion. Let us return to the troubled lands of Thanalan, and lend what aid we may. Taru, have our friends of the congregation send a message to Estinian, telling we have identified a solution to our problem, but it would take some time to prepare. As you wish, Master Alphino. To the Waking Sands, Warrior of the Light. 'Tis past time Ul'dah was delivered from this darkness. But I passed up Tataru there before. Yeah!
Thank you for coming.
No thanks are necessary, General. I trust your recuperation continues apace.
I cannot complain. Thanks to Higiri and her ministrations, I've regained much of the strength I lost during my imprisonment.
Yeah, so it has been a minute. So last time I think we needed to free him from some, like, Magitech contraption. And then they, like, released poison into the cave or whatever.
I gather you have made progress in the search for Her Grace.
Aye, some good fortune at last. A few days past, Dulala informed us that a sizable shipment of alchemical supplies had been delivered to the palace.
With Papa Shan's assistance, I set out to ascertain the source and nature of the shipment. My inquiries led me to Frondale's frontistery. There, I learned that an order had been placed for a curious substance designed to sustain patients trapped in death-like slumber. An invention of the former head alchemist, apparently.
A death-like slumber? This cannot be a coincidence.
It lends some weight to Dulala's claims, aye. Her Grace is likely somewhere within the palace, abed but alive.
Before making any attempt to extricate the Sultana, however, it seemed prudent to learn what manner of substance was used to induce her torpor. To that end, I made inquiries as to the whereabouts of the one most like to have administered it. The lady in waiting, Meriel. We sent for you as soon as we learned of her location. All that remains is to apprehend the woman.
We shall find our cat's paw in the Silver Bazaar. But we must tread carefully. The market is not the bustling place it once was, and someone is sure to mark our coming. Should they inform the monetarists, we'll have a fight on our hands. We must be prepared for the worst, and being short an arm, I thought it wise to take another in its stead. What say you, Warrior of Light? Will you lend me yours? Then I pity the bastard that stands in our way. Come, my friends, for Nanamo! And for Ul'dah!
Where's Rhino Man to count the nods whenever you need it? Our target is Meriel, the Sultana's former lady-in-waiting. A woman of Midlander heritage. I'm told the two of you have met. Our sources indicate that she left the palace shortly after the incident and quietly rejoined the dwindling population of the Silver Bazaar. I suggest we begin her quest by questioning the market's residents and confirm that Meriel is still in hiding there.